Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 8, verse 51. What? It's working?
I want to see the recording full speed. So if you speak on the microphone.
All right, now?
Yes.
Strinam Madhata Bandhunam Droyo Sabihotita Kamabir Grihamedhiyaya Naham Kalpo Vyapohitum Strinam Madhata Bandhunam Droyo Sabihotito Kamabir Grihamedhiyaya Naham kalpo vyapohitum Strinam adhata bandhunam Droho yo sabihotito Karma birgriha mediyai Naham kalpo vyapohitum
Strinam madhata bandhunam Droyo savihotitaha Karma birgi hamediyaya Naham kalpo vyapohitum
Strinam of the women. Not by me. Hatha bandhunam of the friends who are killed. Droha enmity. Ya that. Aso, all those. Iha, herewith. Uttita, has accrued. Karma bhi, by dint of work. Griha mediyai, by persons engaged in material welfare. Na, never. Aham, I. Kalpa, can expect. Japohitam, undoing the same. Translation: I have killed many friends of women, and I have thus caused enmity to such an extent it is not possible to undo it by material welfare work. Purport: the Grihamatis are those whose only happiness is to perform welfare work for the sake of material prosperity. Such material prosperity is sometimes hampered by sinful activities.
Did you say happiness or did
What?
It says happiness there, it says business.
Yeah, sounds good, but what is it says business.
Okay. Call Dravida right now. For the materialist is sure to commit sins, even unintentionally, in the course of discharging material duties. To get relief from such sinful reactions, the Vedas prescribe several kinds of sacrifices. It is said in the Vedas that by performing the Asameda Yajna, horse sacrifice, one can get relief from even Brahma Hatya, killing of a Brahmana. Yudhishthira Maharaj performed this Asameda Yajna, but he thinks that even by performing such yajnas, it is not possible to get relief from the great sins committed. In war, either the husband or the brother, even the father or sons, go to fight. And when they're killed, a fresh enmity is created. And thus, a chain of actions and reactions increases, which is not possible to be counteracted even by thousands of Ashwamedha yajnas. The way of work karma is like that. It creates one action and another reaction simultaneously, and thus increases the chain of material activities, binding the performer in material bondage. In Bhagavad Gita 9:27-28, the remedy is suggested that such action and reaction of the path of work can be checked only when work is done on behalf of the Supreme Lord. The battle of Kurukshetra was actually fought by the will of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, as it is evident from his version, and only by his will was Yudhishthira placed on the throne of Hastinapur. Therefore, factually, no sin whatsoever touched the Pandavas, who were only the order carriers of the Lord. For others who declare war out of personal interest, the whole responsibility lies on them. Magyanatamarandrasya gananjana shalakaya chaksurmalitam jena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Chichaitanyamabhishtam tapitam jena bhutale swam rupagata mahyam dadati sabadantikam. Vandeham shri guru shri uttapata kamalam shri guru vaishnavam sha shri upam sargajatam sagana ragnatam vitam tam sijivam sadvaitam savajutam parijana sahitam Krishna chaitanya devam shri radha krishna padam sagana lalita shri vishakam vitam sha Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Yata, what's the next verse? Okay. Strinam datta bandhunam droho yosa vihotita karma vigriha mediyar naham kalpo vyapohito. I have killed many friends of women, and I have thus caused enmity to such an extent it is not possible to undo it by material welfare work. First thing Prabhupada mentions this Grihamedi, a reference. Apparently Grihamedis are not so bad because they do welfare work for the sake of material prosperity. So, but this type of welfare work is not recommended according to this verse. Karma bir, grihamediyar. So mostly we think of grihamedi, griheshu grihamedi now. that the Grihamedis are generally attached to the Griha. Ato Griha Kshetra, Shutapta Vitar, Janasya Moho, Yamahamameti. There's Rishabdev is saying there to his 100 sons that because Grihamedi means, even depends how you see Grihamedi. Sometimes Nanda Maharaj is, or Vasudeva are comparing themselves to Grihamedis also. So Dina, like that. Dina, low, fallen, very humble person. So, but a Grihamedi is a karmi, basically. So this karmic activity, he's doing this here, big yajna, Asvamedha yajna. Koti Asvamedha is said by Kaviraj Goswami that even if you do, Koti means what, 100 or a million? I think million. Koti Asvamedha yajna, if you do 100 of them, 100 or millions, it's not equal to the chanting. Someone who says that, Koti Asvamedha yajna, Harinam song, if he thinks that doing them is equal to the chanting of Hare Krishna, then he is meant to be punished by Yamaraj. So this is the vichar, the consideration of the pure devotee. And we have to consider Kaviraj Goswami is a great pure devotee, worshipped by all acharyas since that time, that this Kaviraj Goswami, he had association of Raghunath Goswami for a long time, and he heard from him every day for hours, even when in Radhakund and so many, he heard. And this Raghunath Goswami was the most renounced person, and Vairagya Pradhan, in fact. So therefore, we take it from authority that if you perform somehow, I don't think anyone here or in the nowadays can do this Asvamedha yajna. But sometimes you see that these Mayavad yogi or groups, they advertise that they're doing some big yajna like that. But they're, of course, illegal to do certain things. They can only do some. They do big yajnas. Nastyeva, 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 agatiranyata. None of those things are going to help us in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, Sankirtan is the only recommended method. Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. In fact, in the 6th canto, describes there, Maniskritaro Vita Brahmavadi Bis. These are second chapter of 6th canto, where Ajamil is being, the story is being told. In the beginning of this 6th canto, Maharaj Parikshit was feeling very despondent, and he was hearing about all the yatana, punishments that living entities have to undergo, so he was very concerned. Aduneya mahabhaga itaiva narakam nara tamme vyakyatam ahasi. Tell me, you're the most fortunate person, Sukadev. Still we're hearing from Sukadev. We haven't given up hearing from Sukadev. Parikshit Maharaj heard, we're also hearing. So Sukadev Goswami, after hearing Aduneya Mahabhaga, that Parikshit Maharaj said, you're the most fortunate person. Can you please tell me how they can be counteracted? So people will not have to suffer. So several proposals were given by Sukadev that you can do so many. But finally, he came to the point that Yata Mahapurusha Seva, that you have to do service to the Mahapurusha. Mahapurusha means Guru, Mahapurushiko Bhavan. So, how he explained it was the story of Ajamil, that Ajamil had simply chanted the holy name of the Lord. He did not perform any kind of, he had given up all Vedic rituals, and he was simply very attached to in fact he was doing all kinds of sinful activities to maintain his family, and his prostitute. So it's a classic example of that. So during the course of the conversation, described how there was the Yamadutas had come to take a Jamil, and the Vishnu Dutas were speaking so many arguments against why you cannot take this Ajamil. Because Yada Narayana Yeti Jagado Jataraksharam. He chanted the name, these 4 syllables, Chaturaksharam, Narayana. Yata Harinama Yata Padai Hitais. The Harinam, he chanted. There it says Narayan, sometimes Hari. Papa Niskritam. He says, even Ajamil was not only delivered from one sin, but it said, I am he kutan, millions of sins. Not only one sin, but many lifetimes. Janma kotyang hasanapi. So by chanting the holy name, of course, Yudhishthira is also described in this purport, all these purports, that he is, he understands it's only the will. We understand. So Yudhishthira is far more advanced than we are. But still the conversation is going on. That it's not possible to counteract these by doing something. This was the counteracting, the praishchittam vimarshanam, that Sukadev Goswami said. This is just like the elephants bathing. We heard about that yesterday, the day before. So the elephant comes out, he's doing a sinful. Prabhupada used to give the example of the Christian religion, that they perform so many things, and then on Sunday, some other religions might be Saturday, but mostly they go on Sunday and they say, oh, I've done this, please forgive me, I won't do it anymore, or something. They don't even say that, but they think they're being forgiven, but their sinful activities are going on. So in material life, you cannot do anything but suffer. Tapam, tapa, papo tap in the quintino tanabritam. Because tanabritam, those who are embodied, their only business is papo and tapo. They're doing sinful activities. Papa hatan naram, described Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, aham kvachid brahman. He appears to relieve all, especially the men, but any living entity. You see in the Jarikanda forest, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is relieving or enlivening even the animals. Pashu, Paki Jare. The stones are melting, the animals are chanting. So Mahaprabhu has come to take away all sins. It's described in so many verses about Mahaprabhu that he's performing the kirtan. Advaita Acharya also, by his loud crying, just by hearing that, all sins fly away. Mahaprabhu claps his hands and the clouds even disperse. So this is the power. The same holy name we can take now. Chaita Darpana Marjanam Bhavmaha Davagni. By this sinful activity that's being described here, Strinam, Bandhu, he's describing that even friends of women. But the holy name, Gokoti, is described that even those who are killers of women, it's also described there in the 6.2, even the killers of women, Steno Surapo Mitra Drug, those who have turned against their Mitra, Bandhu, friends, or even killed their own guru, or Talpaga, that means even if they've had, you are mumbling in your mask, I appreciate shloka, but not if I can't understand. Stena Surapo Mitra Drug, Brahmaha Guru Talpaga means even if they had sex with their guru's wife. So this is pretty bad. So several verses they're describing. Yani Kani Chapapani also. Brahmahatya, if one kills a Brahmana, what to speak of women, friends of women. I have killed many friends of women. Interesting way of saying this. Friends of women. It doesn't say he killed women, actually. Killed many. I have caused enmity. So this whole material world means enmity. The Vaishnavas are always praying, like Prahlad Maharaj, Swastyastu Vishvasa Kala Prasidatam. Whole material world is full of kala. Kala krura. Envious persons, very cruel persons. And therefore Prahlad Maharaj is praying, and Yudhishthira is in this mood. What can I do? Cannot counteract it. He's feeling very helpless. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Swastiastu Vishvasya Kala Prasiditam. He wants all persons who are in enmity to be pacified. How will they be pacified? Aveshitam yo nomatir apyahoitaki. By doing ahaitaki bhakti yoga. Causeless bhakti yoga. Pratyata. Swastiastu Vishvasya Kala Prasiditam. Vishvasya means he's not thinking of just a few, but the whole universe. Full of Papotapanikantanno. 6 Goswamis, they're seeing, of course, they're still seeing us. Papotapa. Nothing but sin and then suffering for the sin. Papa niharane. Yavat kartum nashaknoti patakam pataki nara. It's also said there, Vishwanath Chakravarti is quoting that so many sinful activities. You cannot perform. Eko harinam jatopa pari papeho jatopa gari nare. By doing one chanting, pure chanting of the holy name. Not maybe our chanting, but Prabhupada is chanting even on a record player. Used to be record player, tape recorder, computer, the chip in your brain, whatever. If you hear one time Prabhupada's chanting, Eko harinam jatopa pari. Jatopap Karibare Nari. You cannot perform more sinful activity than can counteract. So that chanting, just like the Ajamil, he took Mriyamano Harinama, Putram, even though he was calling for his son, the holy name. Prabhupada describes that the Vishnu Dutas, they're like the police. They're on call. And when they hear the holy name, the name of their master, they're described. Sorapujitani, they're worshipped even by the demigods, the Vishnu Dutas. So when they hear that holy name, they arrive on the spot. Just like the police are ready to call 911, they arrive. So the Vishnu Dutas arrive just to save Ajamil, chanting the holy name. Because he did not sin on the basis of the holy name. He did not perform aparad. Even the aparad, the 8th aparad is when hutagnaya, what is it called? Doing so many material things. If one equalizes the holy name with all these things, dharma, huta, tyaga, renunciation, dharma, that is also one of the aparads. And these things are enunciated. There's so many dharma shastras, Manu Samhita, Parashar, Manu Samhita, so many. There's Prabhupada says 20 dharma shastras. So even if you follow all those things very strictly, then Sukadev says, not good enough. It might purify you. Vishud, tata vishudyat agavan. It will purify of sin, but won't give you any love of God. It's possible you might get. And still you can be a Grihamaiti, Grihasta, or hopefully Grihasta. But Griheshu Grihamaiti nam. That's also described in the beginning of 2nd canto. This mentality that nidra, what does it say? Day and night, Nidra hriyate naktam vyavaina chavavaya. Day by day, every day, the Griya Medi, they're working very hard, day and night, just to maintain the body and their family. This is very difficult work. One gets to human form of life is not meant for this. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. When Rahugana, he was a Griya Medi, the king, described there, this is all Sukadeva Goswami speaking, Maharaj Pariksit, and he's describing the Jada Bharat, how Jada Bharat, he was acting like a dull, stunted person, but when he was carrying the palanquin and he was moving in such a way to avoid ants, and so the Rahugana chastised him and said, "What are you doing? I know you're not too strong. Your body's not too strong." But then Jada Bharat told him, "Yes, that's true, because I'm not the body, whether strong, weak, and you are in the king's body thinking you are a big shot. Hankare matta hoya nitai parapasariya." Due to ahankara, we're forgetting Lord Nityananda Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Emana durmati. So everyone is coming into the material world with the wicked mind, forgetting. Krishna bulyo seji vanadi. Since time immemorial, we're forgetting. Anadi, before time. So when Jada Bharat described it to the king Rahuganaita, tapasana yati, nacheja, and all these different things, he said, you won't get relief from your predicament, my dear king. But the king was astounded. I thought this guy was a Sudra, very stout, and now, but a dummy, just a fool. He chastised him, calling him so many names. But when Jada Bharat started to speak, Mahiya Sampadra Jobhishekam, he said, you, thinking you're a big shot, you won't get relief by, even if you were able to stay out in the blazing sun and in ice cold water and perform perfectly your Griya Medi king dharma, Nateja Neva Panadyatirva, Jalagni Surya. You won't get it. The only way you'll understand who you are, who is Krishna, by Hangse Garo. Of course, Bharata, he's in the line of Rishabdev, and Rishabdev instructed all of his sons perfectly that Nayam Deho Bhajan Loke Kashtan Kaman Arhate Vidbhujan. You don't act like a stool eater. What to speak of Griya Medi? He's comparing this any humans who do not take up Krishna consciousness to the stool eaters simply after sense gratification. Tapo dibyam putraka yena. You should become purified by doing tapasya. Tapena. Tapyanti loka tapena. The Vaishnavas, they perform tapasya only for the sake of the whole world, just like Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Let everyone be pacified. All these envious and full of people, these people full of enmity. Matsarya, nirmatsaranam satam. In the beginning of Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam is meant for those who are given up enmity, matsarya, enmity, enviousness. Prabhupada said, as soon as you feel some envy, then you'll know you're not Krishna conscious. So what did Jada Bharat tell to Rahuganath? Oh, many amazing things. I mean, your whole life you can spend just reading one canto or some chapters in Bhagavatam. So sometimes we like to focus. So Jada Bharat, he was focusing on this Griha Medi life, what it means, how the banik, any living entity, any person comes into this material world, he never knows how to get out. Yudhishthira is expressing this confusion. What can I do? Like Arjuna, I don't know what to, dropped his bow, and Vepatus Chasharir me, he's shivering in fear, and he's a big Kshatriya, and suddenly he's Brahmativa Chame Mana. My mind is so disturbed, so similarly here. So everyone in this material world, the mind is very disturbed. Evam mana karma vasham prayanti. We're under the control of the mind, is dictating to us. Evam karma vasham. This is one of the instruction of also Rishabdev. Pratirna yavan mai Vasudeva. As long as one doesn't get priti, love for Vasudeva, Krishna, then he's under this karma mentioned here. Karma, beer. Yastenda gopam atavendra mahosa kambanda. Nurupa bhajana tanoti karmani nirdhi kinti bhakti bhaja. So Lord Brahma says that everyone from the tiniest tiny Indragopa is a germ. We don't know how small microscopic germs are, very tiny, virus or some type of what they're doing. They're causing great misery, but they're also under their stress of karma. Up to Indra, Yastanda Gopam up to Indra, Mahosakam Banda. They're all in the karma banda. Nadi karma pale. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says from time immemorial, before the beginning. Adir means the beginning, and anadir means before the beginning. So that's giving us an idea how we're in this material world, we're karma bandha, locked up, and we don't know how to get out. So Jad Bharat is telling that they come into the material world. He compares that to a banik, ordinary, materialistic, mercantile man, and he goes in the forest of the material world to get some wood or some stone and sell it. This seems like a basic thing, very basic, but it's expanded all the way up to Lord Brahma. Everyone is under this wheel of time, and it's cutting down. Ayo harati vaipam, day by day. Tasyarte yakshonita uttama shloka. Only those who tatopalambakam, uttama shloka lalasa, who are attracted to the uttama shloka. And all these shlokas are uttama. Bhagavatam means uttama shloka. Bhagavatam. Idam Bhagavatam, Puranam Brahma Samhitam is equal to Krishna. Krishna Tulyo Bhagavata. When we're reading Bhagavatam, we're reading Krishna. And it's giving relief from all sin. As long as we stay with our mind fixed on Bhagavatam. Usually if we deviate from Bhagavatam, from Harinam, so many times Prabhupada said, therefore 24 hours chant the Harinam. Kirtaniya sada hari, satatam kirtyanto maham. As long as we deviate, the mind suppresses us. Even this word is seen by in the Bhagavatam in chapter 47, Karma Bhir Brahmyamana Anam, where Nanda Maharaj Kvape Svaichaya. He says that where Brahmanda Brahmite, he's taking himself as an ordinary person. By my karma, we may go anywhere, but Mangala Charita Danai, let me please do very auspicious things. Shubha Shubha Pararita. Shubha, but in a material sense, Prabhupada is quoting the verse from the Gita, Shubha Shubha Pararita Moksha Sekam Bandhana. One can get moksha relief only by becoming indifferent to mundane welfare activity. He's citing these two verses from the Gita, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat tapasi. Whatever you do, whatever tapasya you do has to be done only for Krishna, this tapasa. So we're thinking of that verse describing Lord Shiva, how merciful he is. Tapyanti loka tapena. He's taking on tapasya only for this, to relieve others of their suffering. Saravo prayaso jana paramaradhanam tadhi purusha shakyaratmana. It's Purushotam Mas, so we should think of Krishna as Purushotam. In the beginning we chanted that 15th chapter. So Nanda Maharaj is saying there that Yatra Kvape Sarechaya, the will of Krishna by his will may we become attracted to him. Ratir na Krishna Ishvare. Akilatmana Anam. He is the soul of souls. Sometimes the coward men, they were saying, Nanda Maharaj, sometimes we think that your boy, Krishna, might be the soul of all souls. At least. So this Jad Bharat, it was describing in such detail. When you read that, it is meant for our deliverance. That they come into the material world, don't know how to get samsara, and being tortured in so many ways. And even these welfare activities, even getting vibaha is mentioned, marriage ceremony, or even upanaya is mentioned, these are all considered mundane from the standpoint of the pure devotees. Sandhya vandana bhadramastu, Sandhya bhadramastu me bodeva pitarascha tapana vido. The verse is there by Madhavendra Puri that he gave up all these Sandhya vandana. That means 3 times a day, especially in the morning, evening, one has to do so many things. Any Brahmana, any Hindu in fact, depending on their status, they have to do so many things. He said, I'm giving that smaram smaram agam haram. I think it's enough just to meditate on Krishna. That will take away all my sinful activity. I don't have any obligation, as said also later in the Bhagavatam, that one has no, what is that verse? He's not obligated to the pitris or to any of his ancestors, relatives. So here Yudhishthira is showing the example that he's very entangled with his relatives. The Jad Bharat is saying these relatives he's comparing to foxes, wolves, and this is the children, the wife, like a tigress. He's forcing that King Rahugana to become detached. He's forcing us to become detached. They're demanding so many things from the householder, the Grihamedi. We need this, we need that. They're the government men are like carnivorous, demons, Prajaste Bhakshiya Shanti, they devour the citizens. There's so many crickets and animals in the forest. There's an elephant, the pythons. Imagine being in a cave and there's only big pythons. The elephant is coming to crush you. So Bhagavatam is very descriptive. Sometimes people resent it. Some new devotee was telling me just not long ago, why Prabhupada is so heavy, So heavy? Are you serious? Have you read Bhagavatam? Go read Bhagavatam. Guru means heavy. Adal Gurvashraya, Hangse Guru. First thing, you have to approach the Guru. Then, if you get his mercy, then you won't think it's heavy. You'll think it's nectar in my ears. Svastyasti vishvasakala prasidatam, dantu bhutani shivo mito daya, aveshitam nomati arapya. So, Bhagavatam is heavy. Sometimes it's pure nectar. It's sometimes, but if you are not Krishna conscious, it will feel like poison. In fact, Jad Bharat says that the Grihamedi, sometimes he tries to take shelter of some bogus guru. This is like a poisonous well or a poisonous tree, poisonous fruits. He eats it, he dies. He tries to run into a cave. He's eaten by the python of sleep, death. He goes to the living dead. Shavokaro no kurute saparim is already described in the 2nd canto. Now it's becoming more descriptive. Those who dress the body, someone who doesn't bow before Krishna, who, although he's decorated with a big turban, what does it say? Vikramanye Nashimbatakana. His ears are like snake holes. This is very descriptive. To catch our attention, it's pure poetry. Lord Brahma, Shukadev, they're the greatest poets, they're speaking. Vyas and all our acharyas, they're giving their commentaries. Sanatana, Rupa. I saw some mundane scholar, formerly we'll say, ISKCON devotee. He said, oh, 6 Goswamis, they were very learned, but they weren't geniuses. And I thought, whoa, even mundane scholars acknowledge that they're geniuses, and this guy was a Prabhupada disciple, and he's saying they're not geniuses. Well, at least he's talking about them. No, there's nothing not genius about Bhagavatam. There's nothing not genius about our acharyas. The pure genius. That's just pratibandhita. That is, Krishna has one quality, and also acharyas. Acharyavam purusha veda. If you get the association of the sadhus, mat karma bhir mat kata, and the sadhu sangha, then. But when you give up, satsanga charikaino asate valas, then you're drinking poison. Vishama vishaya vishu satatakainu. Narottam says, one gives up the association of the devotees. Then he starts drinking these poisonous trees, poisonous fruits, drinking from the poison well. It's dangerous poison. Vishama vishaya. Dangerous poison of sense gratification. So, here, Yudhishthira is more or less saying this. You can't, by some Griyamedi activity, Naniskrita Udita Brahmavadi beast, even if you're a big Brahmana, you might get some purification, but it's not Tata Harinama, Padarada, it's not like the syllables of the Harinam. What is it? Vede Ramayana Chaiva. If you go through the whole Vedas, the Mahabharata, Ramayana, you only come to this one conclusion. Hari Sarvatra Giyate. These 2 syllables. Hari. If you can chant that like Ajamil did, then he wasn't studying Veda or anything else. He had given all that up. Okay, so it's time for the inputs. Ice cream microphone, ice cream cone. Hare Krishna.
It seems like that it's always said that when you chant purely, then you're there. You go back to Godhead. When you chant purely. So, like Ajamil, he was chanting the name of his son. It doesn't seem like it. He's chanting his name of his son.
Ajamil, but if you read the whole 2-3 chapters, then you find out Sanketam Parihasham Bas Dobam. Even if one chants, thinking it's only some kind of nice music, or in the Jagai Madai, they were thinking it was nice music. Jagai, what is the verse? Tarsakshi Jagai Madai. Anyway, they were thinking, they were thinking you're chanting for Durga, Chandi or something. But so one of the verses there that I guess the Vishnu Dutas are saying, Sanketam Parihasam Ba, even if you think it's a joke, Parihasam, or you're chanting the name like of something else, Stobam Helanam, or neglectfully, Stobam Helameva, Vaikuntha Nama Grahanam Asheshagam, still Asheshagam Haramadu. Unlimited, Ashesha means unlimited agam, sins are still taken away. Asheshagam Haram Vidu, stolen away. Stole my sins, where's my sin? Hey, did you see that kid? He took my sin.
So basically, as long as we keep chanting, basically our sins are gone, right? They're gone.
And I'm still looking for them.
And even Yudhishthira, it seems like even Yudhishthira, his sins were all gone,
He's in the Bhagavatam.
Yeah, but still he was feeling
Just become
it.
a nimitta matram bhava savasachin. In the 11th chapter of the Gita, Krishna's telling Arjuna, just become an instrument. I've already done everything, but yeah, we have to read the whole thing in context. And
But Prabhupada give you a logic. Prabhupada says that, Prabhupada says,
no, it's not okay. I hear you at home all the time, and you don't speak in the mic. No one can make out what you're saying. So it's not that all right unless you're just talking here.
I remember one lecture Prabhupada says that, yes, the holy name it purifies, we don't need to chant anymore, but Maya has all the memories, what we need, and she is waiting. As soon you finish, okay, you may be liberated, but she has a list that what I wanted, and she will just influence it. She doesn't force, but I'll fall for it. So we have to keep on chanting, keep on going. You should not be like, okay, I'm done. No, there is no such thing.
Even Maya's got initiated by Thakur Haridas.
Yeah.
And she said, previously I got the name Rama, but that's not enough. They're only giving liberation. I need to have the name of Krishna. So therefore, Haridas Thakur initiated her.
Yeah. Maya Devi, Bhiksha Magi.
Mahamohita Chaitasa.
I have a question though. I'm sorry, Madam Madhu. You want to go for it? You forgot?
She forgot.
Giving charity is one thing, but it's all charity is not just activity, it's also mentality. That's a fact, what Prabhupada says. So, when somebody helping the poor people, need people with the hot dogs, now in one sense, it's a sinful that they are killing the cow to get the hot dog. But their mentality, they're not thinking like I'm committing sin. They're thinking like, oh, I'm helping these people.
That's ignorance, pure ignorance. Giving hot dog. I mean, that's already spoken in 17th chapter of the Gita.
No,
right?
that's according to you. But those people don't know. Those people don't know that.
Don't know means ignorant.
No, I understand, but I'm saying that charity is also mentality, no? In their mind, I'm not trying to be like supporting them, but I'm just trying to understand that. In their mind, they are thinking like, well, we are doing charity, we are helping, we want to help these people. But
Well,
they're
that
killing
may
the
lead
cow.
them to do something. By doing that, they may see a devotee with a book and take the book and think, oh, let me give this guy some charity. He's a stupid Hare Krishna, whatever. I was just reading the prayer by Lord Brahma. I think it's 3, 9, 14 probably. And I was surprised. I didn't notice it before. So many things we don't notice in the Bhagavatam. But it said that Brahma says, even if there's benefit, he says, for people doing mundane activity, doing welfare work and like that. But still, I don't think it includes hot dog.
I mean, they did, that's why I'm saying. I know for sure.
They think that, of course they think that. But that means they're in Maya.
So their mentality has no value? Like,
No, the mentality may lead them further, but they're in the long string of karmic activity that by thinking that they may get contact with a devotee or something like that. But it's just a step toward, they may do a gyata sukriti. Maybe they'll sometime not do hot dog. Maybe they'll give, like sometimes people give the devotees some charity. You know, they give us, hey, you guys, Hare Krishna, you know, well, usually it's Indians, but it could be other people. They also give. Jayananda, he went, those guys were definitely eating hot dogs. Banana King Louis, or so many people, they gave him so many things. They were meat eaters. But they loved Jayananda, they were crying. So next time around, they've earned so many Agyata Sukriti. Jayananda is a good example, best. But so many devotees, they're getting charity from mundane people. Those same people may also give hot dog because of that mentality.
what about fifth canto? The description given that those who are knowingly doing the sinful will be suffering more, will be punished more.
Knowingly?
Yeah, and then those who don't know anything, but they're killing or something.
The example is also there that whether you know the fire is hot or not, if you hit the fire, whether you know that, you still get the reaction. I don't know if you. It seems to me that's there also. The rule is there. Oh, I didn't know killing cow is bad. They didn't know. I mean, we were trained. The hunter, Migrari. He said, I don't know anything. I was trained to kill these animals half killed.
But it's true. It's true that Prabhupada said, like, in India, because they know, they know the sacredness of the cow, and because they're killing the cow, they're going to get. It's just like in law, there's different. It's first, second, third degree. If somebody did it.
Right. When you're in the grand jury, they tell you. This many degrees.
What happened to those people?
That's true.
Well, there's different punishments according to if it's premeditated or it's done in like
true.
An act of passion or,
When Prabhupada was speaking in 1976.
Even accidentally, like somebody accidentally runs someone over.
Right, there's different
and that's
degrees.
called, what's that called? Something manslaughter.
That's also given in the Ajamil thing. Gurunicha, Lagunicha. According to the degree, whether it's guru, heavy, or lagu, light. Mm-hmm. So it's lighter if you don't know. Right. And that could be considered lighter. But I'm saying in Prabhupada, in 1976, he was being challenged by these news guys. They sound like they're quite young, if I wasn't there. But when he was being challenged that, Swamiji, you say this and that, but in America, they're enjoying. They're doing so many sinful activities. And in India now, we're suffering so much. He said, why you don't follow Gita then? Gita says, Anad Bhavanti Bhutani, you cook grains. He doesn't say you kill animals there, so you don't even study Gita, because Gita is spoken in your country, because Krishna appears here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Ram, they appear here, therefore you must suffer 10 times more. 10 times more. So I don't know, we have to accept what Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada kind of scared them a little bit. He said, why you're making, Krishna says you grow grains, not
Nuts and bolts.
Nuts and bolts, tire, Goodyear tires.
Yeah, tires.
You eat the tires, eat your nuts and bolts. So he said, you should suffer, yeah?
Wasn't there something where somebody asked Prabhupada that why people in India are suffering so much, and then he said that.
I just said it.
Oh, that's the point that you
It's
were.
if you look it up, it's a news, well, he could have said it other times, but he's very succinct in that news conference in 76. I don't remember the month. And you can hear it, the tape. I remember hearing it so many times. And Prabhupada told them, they said, oh, but you're Westerners, aren't they? They're working for you for free, you're exploiting, or some stupid thing they said. He said, no, they're life sacrificers. They're working much harder than you. They're working 24 hours a day, going in vans, distributing books. They're doing it not for me. I'm not getting anything out of it. They're doing it because they love me and because they're distributing Krishna consciousness. But, he said, we have no such life sacrificers in India. Even Prabhupada said that when he went to Manila, that the dog eaters, Hobata Sapacho, he was talking about this verse, Karyan, that the dog eater, even if he gives up being a dog eater, of course, and he chants Hare Krishna, he said, in Manila, I saw the dog eaters were chanting Hare Krishna better than the so-called Vaishnavas in Vrindavan. He said that in the Radha Damodar lecture. He was commenting on Nectar Devotion, which is quoting that prayer, that shloka. Huh?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, he was commenting on this verse by Kapila, or is it Devahudi speaking?
Devotee
Speaking. Hobata Sapacho Gariyan, Jivagri, one who, Jivagri, Namatubhyam, on the tip of his tongue is the holy name, Tapus Tapas. He has already performed all tapasya. Tapus Tapas, Jehuvu Sharshanaya. He's an Aryan. He has done all Brahminical activity in his previous life. Therefore, Babanachur Nama Granati Ete. That's such a person, Yan Namadeya Shavanana Kirtana, the 2 verses. So that, especially that verse, he was commenting and saying, the dog eater, he said, when I was in India, I never saw a dog eater, really. He said, but when I went to Manila, I saw dog eaters. But he said that Sudama Vipra and Siddha Swarup they had induced the so-called dog eaters to chant Hare Krishna better than these so-called Vaishnavas in Vrindavan. Probably could get pretty heavy, you know. I mean, I don't know how many Vaishnavas in Vrindavan are lower than the dog eaters, but probably from Prabhupada's standpoint, there are so-called Vaishnavas. And Prabhupada could tell who is who. We don't know. Therefore, we offer respect. But Prabhupada gave heads up so many times. He said, Vrindavan is overcome by rogues and rascals, and not that everybody is pure.
These are our friends.
Okay,
To
here it is.
read it.
Bottom.
Yeah.
Some benefit for charitable mentality and some reaction for sinful activity. Welcome to conditional life. Wow. Haribol.
That's it. Wait.
Okay. That's enough?
Just.
There's more?
Yeah. I don't know if there is any comment.
Oh, here? Okay.
This is the chapter.
Bhagavatam is heavy, but for us in Kali Yuga, we can view it through the mercy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, that's right. Bhagavad Gita speaks about charity in a different mode, yes. Kishore Krishna. That would most likely be in the category of charity in the mode of ignorance. Yes, totally. Haribol.
Okay. It's nice class.
Haribol. All right, we're done. Hare Krishna.